Welcome. This week we are going to talk about celebrating victories. So I couldn't resist. I had to play the Rocky theme. I'll spare you the rest of it. So why am I so jazzed about wanting to talk with you about creating victories in your life? So we've just come off the Olympics, and I learned so many lessons from watching the extraordinary performances of everybody. And afterwards, I got to thinking, just because you and I don't have in mind to after as an elite athlete a medal to be on a podium, there are so many things in our lives that we're really no different from the Olympians that we just saw. Really, that we have things that we really want in life, and we decide that we're going to go after them. And I want that for you too. And so among the many lessons, a lot of them were really, in my mind, about inspiration. So that's going to be the focus of my video today. But before I focus on that, I want to just mention three that came to mind for me that really got me thinking about the key elements, no matter what's going on and whatever you have going on in your life right now, whether it's something about work or something about your relationship or a physical goal. There are key factors that apply not only to all of those, but to all of us as well. And the important thing is for us to know the ones that work for us when we want to be up to something big, whether that's getting started or maybe you've already gotten started, but you're not making the progress that you want. So really, these tips are with you in mind. So one of the things that I noticed, if you were watching the Olympics, did you catch the Toyota ad where they said, you don't have to be amazing to start, yet you have to start to be amazing. An oldie but goodie, written by Zig Ziglar originally, but I think that they really nailed it for you recovering procrastinators out there, and I include myself in that. That was a huge one. So that was one of the first ones where I thought, my gosh, the Olympics are really, like, basically we could watch that and have that be a foundational workshop for us to say, wow, how do I make stuff, really important stuff happen in my life? The second thing is I was noticing something that, Michael Phelps, so let's talk about the best of the best, the most elite of the elite, record-breaking number of Olympic medals, golds, all of that, beyond what anyone, including maybe himself, could have ever imagined. What was the thing that now that he's out of the game and he can look back with his wisdom, what was the thing that he said? Did you catch that? It was, I learned, take care of yourself. And I got to think about that too. What he's really saying is, wow, we all need to have balance in our lives so that even people that are up to the biggest stuff, and you would think, wow, they'd be really supported. Not necessarily so. He said, hey, look, that was the thing that was missing. That reminded me that for a lot of us, and for you too right now, maybe bring to mind right now something that you really want, and you know what it is. You really want, and maybe you're working along, you're chugging, but it's not happening for you. And that's got you frustrated, maybe feeling like taking a step back, giving up, and I don't want that for you. Or maybe there's something that you can taste it, yet you just don't know how to get started, and you don't even know, and you don't need to know. Is it fear? Is it lack of information? All you need to do is choose that you're going to make it happen no matter what, and you're going to apply some of the things that you're going to hear me talk about in the next few minutes. The third thing that I thought was really incredible was the lesson of pushing through pain, knowing when to do that, knowing when that's going to be your best outcome, just digging in deep when it gets really hard, and having that work out, and also knowing when to say when. Too much. Yeah, I'm talking about specifically Simone Biles, but I'm sure there are others too. But also think about a time in your life where was it about you knowing exactly what you needed in that moment? And sometimes it's a time to dig in. Sometimes it's a time to step back and say, hey, look, I got to regroup and look at what's in my best interest right now. What's going on? So maybe that is, okay, I've been working at something and plugging away, and now I'm losing my momentum. Now I'm losing my mojo. Maybe it's time to take a step back. So my takeaway from this is the timing of knowing what works for you, but applying different things depending on where you are is really key. And how do you know that? You take a look at how things are working for you, you pay attention to what you've been doing, and then you either turn up the heat on that because you know you just need a little more, or you say, you know what, it's time for something different, and a wise person is flexible enough to know when that really applies. So what are my tips for you to get started on something and to stay really in the game with it. It has a lot to do with inspiration. What does it mean for you to get inspired and stay inspired? And if you don't know what that looks like, it's okay. Yet if you haven't been making the progress that you've wanted, then I bet you that's a place to look. So I've got a few that I'm going to throw out to you. I wrote my last blog. You can find it at my website, leodaskalki.com. I go into a lot more specifics, so you'll want to check that out probably if you find what I say helpful, but you'd like more ideas. What I think would apply for you, no matter what's going on for you right now, in terms of inspiration, is I want you to ask yourself, what typically lights you up? What's the thing or things that you put into place that you could do right now that you haven't been doing for a while, or something that you've never done and you don't even know what that is yet? So I'm going to give you a few of those. If you know, so that couldn't have been any vaguer. Let me repeat that. If there's something that you know that you do that works for you, I want you to commit to just doing that now. Something that, let's say there was a time in your life, in your past, where you created something really meaningful for yourself. Let's say you basically made something important happen. What was going on? What were you telling yourself? Or in a time of struggle, what was the thing that you heard, probably from somebody else, that you could say, wow, that was something that really lit me up? Because I bet you that that's going to be a key thing for you. You're not going to have to reinvent the wheel here. So if you haven't been telling yourself that, it could be a key phrase or phrases. It could be a paired activity that you do. You know, oh, wow, I notice that every time that I'm able to get lit up and do something, it's because that day I started out with a clear schedule, or I played music, I rocked out, and that's what sort of gets me into a positive mindset, into that inspired state that I need right now. Oh, that's right, I just forgot to remember to do that. It could be that. Yet, if you are hearing me talk about this and saying, I have no idea, I just never really thought about this very much, it's okay. I'm going to give you some ideas for it. So in terms of getting inspired, these are a few. One, I mentioned already, I talked about music. I talked about the idea of getting into a positive state of mind. That's really important. Now for you, that could be something like getting set up with what you're starting your day with. Is that something that you need to know exactly what you're going to get going today, so that you've written it down, and when you read it, you're like, yeah, cool, I can't wait. That's probably your go-to. If it's something like, I need to set myself up with the proper nutrition, I got to start with a great breakfast. That's the kind of thing that lights me up. That's great too. Something you may not have thought about, and I just referred to it when I was talking about the music, is you are looking to get started on something. What is your physical and mental approach to it? Because if you haven't been really intentional about that, that might be the thing that's been missing for you. So when I talked about mindset, you could probably guess for me it's music. That's a powerful one. That when I'm looking to get creative in writing, or when I'm looking to push through, launch a new program, I know that if I connect with like celebratory music, Rocky was kind of a joke, but not really actually. You know, is that the kind of thing that gets you to say, you know what, I can do this. I'm going to go all in today. Then that's something you know that you'll want to look at. If you haven't been paying attention to this in your life, and it's something that, like I said, you say, I don't even know where to start, it's okay. I encourage you to, imitation is the highest form of flattery. Look to people in your life who've been role models. If you were watching the Olympics, take a minute and think about it right now. What was going on? What were the stories that you heard that you're like, you just felt something in your belly a little bit? They were like, wow, I know that's them. This is me. It has nothing to do with me. But no, maybe it does. The part where you felt a little bit like you had chills, or like it lit you up a little bit. What was the thing that you saw? What was the thing that person was telling themselves? Was it something like, you know what? I know this feels hard right now, but keep your eye on the prize. You can go the distance. All you got to do is recommit and do it again. Maybe you need to build some fun into it. Maybe it's become drudgery. Does that make sense to you in terms of ways that you would look to create that mindset of almost like, I know this is going to happen. I've done something like this before, and the only thing that's missing is me getting into a physical mindset, a physical state, if you will, where you just lit up and nothing's stopping you. And I don't care how big or small the goal is, it works. And if you're not getting it done, then wouldn't it be worth trying that? I hope so. Because I want you to think about, you and I may not be looking to get a gold medal on a podium, but if you're not going after what you really want, I just think that you're kind of selling yourself short. Another thing in terms of getting inspired, I want you to pay attention to who are you exposing yourself to? Who are the people? Now, it doesn't have to be somebody in your life that you're talking to about it, but who do you, if you watch movies, who do you watch? If you are thinking about it, if you're like brainstorming in your mind, but you're not talking to somebody about it, what's going on with that? Are there people in your life that you can run ideas by and that they can give you the support along the way? So it's basically don't do this alone. Along with the idea of the support system that you might have. Who are the people in your life that are, your cheerleaders? I want you to think about that. Because, like I said before, sometimes you may need to take a step back. Sometimes you may need to dig in and say, I'm going to push forward with this. Similarly, the kind of support that we need may change depending on where we are in creating something magical, and also just what our mood is that day. So it could be that someday you need somebody that's just saying like, look, you got this, the cheerleader. Other days, and I had this happen recently, and I know enough about this that I asked for it. I said, no, I don't need any more of that. I need a kick in the ass is what I need. And so she willingly gave that to me as my accountability partner and said, come on, what's going on? Why aren't you doing this? But on days when I need the, hey, look, come on, you got this. Don't come at me with the, like personal trainer. Come on, you got 10 more. Like, no, I don't. It's all about knowing yourself. What do you need? What do you need right now? So pay close attention to that. So I'm going to leave you with this. Another key part about getting inspired and staying inspired is particularly on the rough days, and if you're having one, if you're having a slow week, slow day around this, or maybe it's been even longer than that, I want you to knock off any sort of critical talk you have. I just want you to approach it with you like, there's something that I'm not doing. There's something missing here. And a big part of it, I'm going to go over this next time, so look for my next video, is it's really important when you're not making it happen to know what your why is, know what your vision is, know what's the experience that you're looking to create. Because often getting really clear about that and then reconnecting with your why, with your vision, that's going to be a almost infinite source of energy, inspiration for you. So my wish for you is that, just like the Olympians, that you're dreaming big and you're going after it. Because I know you can make it happen. Take care.